A 64-year-old man ate a piece of boiled pork. He suddenly fainted and collapsed. After being rushed to the hospital, he died. After his son learned the cause of death, he chose to immediately call the police. December 15, 2017. Zhejiang, Zhejiang province. 64-year-old Mr. Guan had been discharged from the hospital for a while. He had also recovered quite well. So, his son, Guanqiong, decided to make a hearty meal to nourish his father. So he bought a lot of fresh ingredients himself. Never thought that his filial piety would turn into a family tragedy. Because the father had just been discharged from the hospital, his body had not fully recovered. So he could only eat liquids for the time being. After 2 weeks of recuperation, Mr. Guan's health had improved. So, his son Guanqiong cooked a table of dishes for his father. Then, to make it easier for his father to swallow, Guanqiong also specifically cut all the vegetables and meat, even smaller than usual. And he also specially cooked the meat until it was very tender. But unexpectedly, the accident still happened. Guanqiong and his mother were washing dishes when they suddenly heard a sound from inside the house. So Guanqiong got up and went inside to check. Unexpectedly, as soon as he entered, he found his father collapsed on the ground. At this moment, Lao Guan's face was pale, and he was breathing rapidly. Seeing this situation, Guanqiong immediately shouted loudly, "Mom, call 120. Then came the sound of the ambulance siren. The comatose Lao Guan was rushed to the hospital in time. But unfortunately, after the medical staff's all-out rescue, Lao Guan still lost his life. The mother and son were heartbroken to hear the bad news. But why did Lao Guan, who had recovered and been discharged from the hospital, suddenly pass away after eating a meal? What exactly was the reason? With a death certificate report given by the hospital, this also made Guanqiong and his mother suddenly realize. It turned out that the cause of Lao Guan's death was actually choking. Then Guanqiong said, because he knew his father hadn't recovered completely, eating normally would be difficult to swallow. So, when cooking, he specifically cut the meat into small pieces, just to make it easier for his father to swallow. Then, the doctor's words completely woke Guanqiong up. It turned out that Guanqiong's father, a month ago, had just undergone major craniotomy surgery. Due to the severe injury, old Guan's living abilities in all aspects were significantly affected. This also led to a longer period of time, where old Guan could only eat liquids. And it was precisely because of the long-term liquid diet that his swallowing ability was affected, which indirectly caused old Guan's death. After listening to the doctor's explanation, Guanqiong was momentarily filled with anger. He felt the reason for his father's death was because of the brain surgery that caused his father's injury. The surgeon is the culprit. So what's going on? It turned out that 2 months ago, Lao Guan was riding his tricycle to run an errand. On the way back, he was hit by a young couple from the neighboring village. The sudden impact caused Lao Guan's tricycle to fall headfirst into a drainage ditch on the side of the road, and Lao Guan himself was thrown from the tricycle onto the roadside. Then the two people in the car hurried out to check the situation. At this moment, they found old Guan lying on the ground, covered in blood, and he had already fallen into a coma. There was also a large wound on his head. So they immediately dialed 120, because it was right at the entrance of the village. Someone recognized old Guan, so they hurried to inform Guanqiong. After Guanqiong arrived, he saw his father lying in a pool of blood. He was extremely anxious. Then he went to the hospital with the ambulance. After a thorough examination by the medical staff, they found that old Guan had multiple fractures in his body and head. Moreover, there were signs of massive bleeding in his skull. He needed surgery immediately. Otherwise, there would be a great danger to his life. So Guanqiong, desperately hoping for a recovery, regardless of whether his father could recover to how he was before, just wanted him to survive. Then the surgery was immediately performed. The surgery went smoothly. The blood clot in the brain was also successfully removed, but his life was saved. However, Lao Guan could not take care of himself. Even walking required assistance. Fortunately, the person at fault admitted their mistake after the accident. Their attitude had always been good. They also helped Lao Guan complete the life-saving surgery. Unexpectedly, it wasn't long after he was discharged and went home. It was actually because he ate a piece of fatty meat that his father lost his life. This was unacceptable to Guanqiong. According to Guanqiong's thinking, first of all, it was because his father was injured in the accident. That's what caused his physical problems, then leading to accidental death by choking while eating meat. Therefore, the person responsible for the accident and their family should be responsible for his father's death. So, Guanqiong went to the perpetrator's house repeatedly to seek an explanation. But facing Guanqiong's claims, however, the perpetrator's family thought he was being unreasonable. They felt that although they were at fault for hitting him with the car, they had also been trying their best to help rescue and treat Lao Guan. Subsequently, Lao Guan did indeed escape from life-threatening danger, and was discharged safely from the hospital. So, they were not at fault. After hearing the perpetrator's account, Guanqiong flew into a rage. He then smashed up the perpetrator's house. And then he called the police. But after mediation by law enforcement officials, they had no choice but to give up. Later, Guanqiong still sued the person responsible for the accident. However, this kind of matter is quite controversial. Subsequently, with the efforts of the people's judges, the contradictions between the two families were resolved. The relationships between people cannot be maintained solely by bottom lines. More often, they require the constraints of morality and righteousness. Life is long, and cherish it as you go. I'm awesome. Thank you for watching. That's all for this episode. See you tomorrow. I've been growing my hair for over a decade. Before, you can see how long my hair was 16 years ago. It reached my heels. And now, this hair is all matted. And it can't even be cut. This person with the bird's nest hairstyle is Ms. Luo. Originally, it was smooth, flowing, and long hair. Why did it become like this? Ms. Luo said she went to a photo studio to take artistic photos. To highlight her long, black hair over a meter long, she specifically styled her hair in several exaggerated styles. During this time, hairspray was essential for styling. After taking the photos, satisfied, Ms. Luo found that her hair was tangled and stuck together. This made her very anxious. She immediately contacted a hair salon. After looking at the photos, the person said it could be washed out. Then Ms. Luo went to the shop and began a long hair washing journey. She was washing her hair from noon until after 8 in the evening, until the hairdresser let out a sigh. And then she washed her hair for 8 hours, and then got all her hair tangled. They were constantly combing it. He said, "I'm sorry, miss. I really can't do anything about your hair. I can't untangle it," Ms. Luo said. Her hair wasn't that badly tangled to begin with. But after the hairdresser's work, it's now a complete bird's nest. Ms. Luo now regrets it and feels heartbroken. Furious, Ms. Luo went to the hair salon the next morning. She demanded a reasonable explanation and compensation from the manager. Initially, the manager thought Ms. Luo was being completely unreasonable. Paying compensation was even more out of the question. But Ms. Luo refused to give up. "It's just to pay 50,000. We negotiated 50,000 at the public security bureau. My 16 years of shampoo care. How much is this cost worth?" Ms. Luo said, the salon must compensate her at least 50,000 yuan. And the cost of her hair care over the years would only be more. This is already a very favorable price. Regarding the unexplainable claim, the hairdresser felt very wronged. He said he didn't guarantee that he would definitely fix the hair. As for why it got messier and messier, it ended up in a complete knot. The reason was all with Ms. Luo herself.